Hey, fourth grade, it's Mrs. Mata here, and today we're going to be reading one of my all-time favorite books, and it's called Those Shoes by Mary Beth Boltz and illustrated by Noah Z. Jones. And this book is about a boy named Jeremy, and it's told from Jeremy's perspective, so he's the one talking in the book. I have dreams about those shoes. Black high tops, 2 white stripes. Grandma, I want them. There's no room for want around here, just need, Grandma says. And what you need are new boots for winter. Brandon T. comes to school in those shoes. He says he's the faster runner now. Not me. I was always the fastest before those shoes came along. Nate comes to school in those shoes. Antonia and I count how many times Nate goes to the bathroom, 7 times in one day, just so he can walk up and down the hall real slow. Next, Alan Jacoby and Terrence each got a pair. Then one day, in the middle of kickball, one of my shoes comes apart. Looks like you could use a new pair, Jeremy, Mr. Alfred, the guidance counselor, says. He brings out a box of shoes and other stuff he has for kids who need things. He helps me find the only shoes that are my size. Velcro, like the ones my little cousin Marshall wears. They have an animal on them from a cartoon I don't think any kid ever watched. When I come back to the classroom, Alan Jacoby takes one look at my Mr. Alfrey shoes and laughs, and so does Terrence, Brandon T., and everyone else. The only kid not laughing is Antonio Parker. At home, Grandma says, "How kind of Mr. Alfrey." I nod and turn my back. I'm not going to cry about any dumb shoes. But when I'm writing my spelling words later, every word looks like the word shoes, and my grip is so tight on my pencil, I think it might bust. Why do you think his grip is so tight on his pencil? I think it's because he's probably pretty mad that he doesn't have those shoes. On Saturday, Grandma says, "Let's check out those shoes you're wanting so much. I got a little money set aside. Might be enough. You never know." At the shoe store, Grandma turns those shoes over so she can check the price. When she sees it, she sits down heavy. "Maybe they wrote it down wrong," I say. Grandma shakes her head. I think the shoes are probably a little too expensive. Then I remembered the thrift shops. What if there's a rich kid who outgrew his or got 2 pairs for Christmas and had to give one of them away? We ride the bus to the first thrift shop. Black cowboy boots, pink slippers, sandals, high heels, every kind of shoes except the ones I want. We ride the bus to the second thrift shop, not a pair of those shoes in sight. Around the corner is the third thrift shop. I see something in the window. Black shoes with 2 white stripes, high tops, perfect shape, $2.50. Those shoes. My heart is pounding hard as I take off my shoes and hitch up my baggy socks. "How exciting," Grandma says. "What size are they?" I shove my foot into the first shoe, curling my toes to get my heel in. "I don't know, but I think they fit." I don't know if they actually fit. Grandma kneels on the floor and feels for my toes at the end of the shoe. "Oh, Jeremy," she says, "I can't spend good money on shoes that don't fit." I pull the other shoe on and try to walk around. "They're okay," I say, holding my breath and praying that my toes will fall off right then and there. But my toes don't fall off. I buy them anyway with my own money, and I squeeze them on and limp to the bus stop. At home a few days later, Grandma puts a new pair of snow boots in my closet and doesn't say a word about my two big feet shuffling around in my 2 small shoes. Sometimes shoes stretch, I say. Grandma gives me a hug. I check every day, but those shoes don't stretch. I have to wear my Mr. Alfreys to school instead. One day during math, I glance at Antonio's shoes. One of them is taped up, and his feet look smaller than mine. After school, I head to the park to think. Antonio is there, the only kid who didn't laugh at my Mr. Alfrey shoes. If you look at the corner, you can see that's Antonio, and he has a piece of tape on his shoes. We shoot baskets. A loose piece of tape on Antonio's shoe smacks the concrete every time he jumps. I think, I'm not gonna do it. We leap off the swings. I'm not gonna do it. We race from one end of the playground to the other. I'm not gonna do it, I say. Do what? Antonio says, breathing hard. What do you guys think he's gonna do? Or is not gonna do? Grandma calls me for supper and invites Antonio over too. After supper, he spies on my shoes. How come you don't wear them? Antonio asks. I shrug. My hands are sweaty. I can feel him wishing those shoes were his. That night, I am awake for a long time thinking about Antonio. When morning comes, I try on my shoes one last time. Before I can change my mind, the shoes are in my coat. Snow is beginning to fall as I run across the street to Antonio's apartment. I put the shoes in the front of his door, push the doorbell, and run. There he goes running. At school, Antonio is smiling big in his brand new shoes. I feel happy when I look at his face and mad when I look at my Mr. Alfrey shoes. But later, when it's time for recess, something happens. Everywhere there is snow. Leave your shoes in the hall and change into your boots, the teacher announces. Leave your shoes in the hall. It's then I remember what I have in my backpack. New boots. New black boots that no kid has ever worn before. Standing in line to go to recess, Antonio leans forward and says, "Thanks." I smile and give him a nudge. Let's race. All right, so I just adore that story. I think it's so great, and I think it has a great message. So in the discussion box below, or the discussion board below, I want you to write about a time that someone was a good friend to you, or a time that you were a good friend to someone else. So in the story, Jeremy is a great friend to Antonio because he gives his shoes that he loves so much, even though they don't fit him, he gives his shoes to Antonio so Antonio can wear them and fit in and have shoes that actually fit. So I want you to write in the discussion board below a time that either you were a good friend to someone else or someone else was a good friend to you. And you can say any example that you want from your life. And then once you finish that, in your notebook, your spiral notebook that you got in your back to school pack, I want you to draw a T-chart that looks like this. Oh. It looks like that. It's a little messy on mine, but that's okay. And on one side, I want you to write the word want. And on the other side, I want you to write the word need. So in the story, Jeremy wanted those shoes, the super cool shoes, and his grandma said that he couldn't have them because there's only room for needs in this house. And one of those needs was snow boots because she knew that winter was coming. So I want you to write some things that you want versus some things that you need. So in my life, I love getting new clothes. So I might write in the want pile, I want new clothes. Right there. But what I really need is probably a winter coat for when it gets cold out. So under the need column, I would write winter coat. So you can write anything on these columns. So things that you want, versus things that you need. And that'll go right into your spiral notebook. Thanks so much. Bye.